not do that well on Facebook. The reach is particularly very bad now. It's 0%. So the reach was going, even worse when you put out a text update. Now, say if, for example, Pinterest has a new pin it button. That's the first video we came up with. If I were to give that in text, the reach would probably be 120 people. If I'm lucky, 150. If I'm extremely lucky, 200 people. But everybody knows that when you do a video, the reach is higher. And by video, I don't mean sharing a video. I mean creating a video. So when you create a video when you create a video by yourself, original content as form of video does much better on Facebook. The reach is higher, and the sharing also becomes much better. The viewability is much larger than you trying to read out text, because when you're scrolling down through the newsfeed, say if you're a smartphone user, there's more probability that you will view a video because of the number of views it has than to read a text with the number of views that the text has. So one of the ways where to make news more exciting, like say, it's like Facebook started off by seeing itself as a personalized digital newspaper for everyone, and we don't literally want to do that, because if news had to come in form of text, you're just reading a digital newspaper. There's nothing new in it. The advantage of it having visuals and videos is why it makes it much better than reading a newspaper. So we decided to make a video. Convert the news. Say if Pinterest came up with a new pin it button, how do you use it and how you can install it was made in sort of a video.
Aditya, now see, Kaushal is talking about the interesting part of the topic, okay, when we look at content. But again, when you start looking at it, you look at it from a very technical angle. Will this be able to sell as a video? Will this be able to, convert into a video? Is it possible to even, create a video out of it? So when he comes up with a topic like that, what are the parameters that you want to pass it through?
First of all, the first thing I look at is the software. Like the one I use is Adobe. So I'll see if it's possible to make such a video through the software or not. Like if it's the one we did for Pinterest, which we took like around 100 images and we made it into a video. So I'll see if that's possible to do it with the software or not. If it's possible, then we move on to it. Or what we did was in the video, we even gave a screencast of what exactly happened on the laptop. We recorded the screen. We took a small, like a video of that, and we put it in the video itself. So what we have done is we made this itself a part of the video. So I'll see if that can be done, and he come up with the video idea like we can do such a video. I'll think like what extra can we add to make people understand the fact better. So once he draws the visuals and everything, I'll just edit it, I'll just combine it, I'll see if the video makes sense. If it's not, then I'll try to add some things like the screen recorder and stuff, and I'll make sure that people understand much better.
So how important would the prospects be, or when you're looking at a target audience? Okay, I'm sure you have somebody in mind when you're doing these videos. Okay, so how important are they as a parameter when you say that okay, I freeze on this topic, or I might be able to put this into a video or not? Where does that parameter come into picture?
Yeah, I think it's very important to know your insights or your target audience before you start, because that's the content you're giving out directly to those. So you got to look at it as a manufacturer and a consumer at the end of the day. So we as manufacturers of content should look at who our consumers are. So if, like say for example, the insights are between 18 to 34 age group, then you probably want to do content that is more attractive. It's more attracted towards 18 to 34. If you're going to give too much of, like let's take for example digital marketing itself. If we were to give out content that's really professional, and your insights say that your target audience from between 18 to 25, that's like just graduating, some people still doing college, then it wouldn't make sense, because technical abilities is not something that they would get attracted to. But like say for example, we did a Snapchat video. Snapchat is a popular social networking site. It's more to do with the targeting, the kind of users using Snapchat are between the age of 15 to 25, 26. So those kind of mediums would probably work. And another thing is, a lot of people are hearing about Snapchat, for example, but they don't know how to use it. everyone is like, yeah, you know, Snapchat exists, but how do I use it? Is it beneficial for me? Why? Is always the question. So I think it's we're trying to make videos in such a manner that people start adopting these things as early as possible, because we as Indians are very skeptical to move towards newer mediums, just because, say, if my target audience is not there, if my customer, as a brand, if my customer is not there, I'm not willingly spending time on that medium. I say, okay, anyway my customer is not there, so why should I invest? So that's why you're losing out eventually, because the point is to start before your competitor does. So what we are trying to do is basically educate the people on certain things that will become big and how to get started. So the video can contain either, say, what's new in the territory of a social media channel, or say if it has a new introduction as a button or how to install it, we do that. Or it could also either be a tutorial how brands could use, how you can market on it, and what are the aspects of the medium itself, how do you use it to your benefit, things like that.
So you actually start off with the audience.
Yeah.
And then you look at a topic what is interesting to them.
Yeah.
Then it is passed by the technical team where they understand whether you can make a video out of it, and if yes, from an audience perspective, how interesting can you make it?
And even the timing part of it, like, you know, how long should it be? Like, basically we make sure that it's less than 5 minutes, because people these days, they are too busy and they don't spend much time watching videos which are more than 5 minutes. So one of the first videos we made was on Google Plus by Anup, how to get on the Google My Business page. You know, we showed the whole screen recording of it with explanation, and it was less than 5 minutes. So that worked out really well, and people still watch it. It's getting a really good reaction on YouTube and stuff. So we are making sure that it's less than 5 minutes. It's not very time consuming. So in as much less time as possible, we are giving the information
Alright.
in a way that they can actually understand, and, you know, that's to start making use of it.
Okay. So step 1 is knowing your audience. Step 2 is coming up with a topic that interests them. Step 3 is how feasible it is, how viable it is on video.
Yeah.
Then what is the next step? Let's say we're frozen on the topic. What happens next?
I think then comes the hard part, the production bit, where we actually sit and do it. You will realize in the beginning that you have what we always do is, we always prepare a script. Like, say, these are the things that go out. Like, say, for example, the Pinterest video, he's used stop motion, things like that. So we basically use images to make it into a video. So we had to have a script as to what goes out when and what comes. You have to decide the order much before the video starts, because you will realize that once you start making the video, things might go here and there. You might want something before, or you might want something after, which it will eventually happen once you start making the video. You start realizing once you're sketching or once you're writing that, oops, I might have missed a point. So it's very important to prepare the script, and then you can alter it whenever you want. And yeah, that's about it. We start getting the video done, see how it works in different aspects. We make changes in real time, and then when it goes on to the video part, he makes his changes, like, say, adding a soundtrack to it, or adding more light onto the image, whether it's clear or not. Because when you sketch and when you take the picture on a DSLR, for example, it looks a lot different. Like, say, a character or a letter might look really small when you're viewing it, but when you view it on the big screen, it makes a lot of difference. So I think it's very important to get adjusted to the whole video making thing. It's trial and error in the beginning, but once you get suited to that, you become much better at it.
So it's quite a tedious process.
Yeah.
Okay. So in between all this, where does research come into picture?
I think researching is the key to doing to the end product. I think without research, if I didn't do research about, say, the Pinterest button now giving you options to make. So basically, the new pin it buttons reduces the number of steps for you to pin anything on the net. Now, I wouldn't know how to make a video on that until and unless I researched about it. So Pinterest released the news. That's where you research. Then you find out how it's done. A lot of people know how to use social media. Everyone knows how to use Facebook. A 5-year-old kid will tell you. But how it works, why it works is the question. That's the vital thing. So that's important to understand. So when you research as to why it works.